Who remembers the songs Tossing and Turning by the Ivy League, Can't You Hear My Heartbeat by Herman's Hermits, Little Bit of Soul by the Music Explosion, or Dreams or Ten a Penny by Kincade, or how about Beach Baby by the First Class? They were all penned by my guest today, well, all but Beach Baby, which was co-written by my guest and his wife. Who am I speaking of? John Nicholas Shakespeare, aka John Carter, joined today by his wife Gill. John is a singer, songwriter, and record producer. As you can tell by the songs above, the bulk of John's career in songwriting was during the 60s and 70s. But John has also been a singer in such bands as Carter Lewis and the Southerners, the Ivy League, and the Flower Pot Men. John has also lent his vocal cords to providing backup for several well-known bands and artists. We will talk more about this and much more in this interview. Welcome, John and Gill.
Hi.
Thanks very much, Greg. Great to be here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here. Okay, John, let's ask that question again that you've been asked a million times. You're not related to the Bard of Avon, correct?
I could be. I like to tell people I am, but no.
Okay, all right. John, recall your first, your beginnings, your childhood and family life growing up.
Well, what can I say?
Born in Birmingham.
Yeah, born in Birmingham and didn't like Birmingham very much. So when I got older, I was determined to try and get into the music business. And I thought, well, to get into the music business, you can't stay in Birmingham.
That meant moving to London.
Moving to London, I did, where I met this lady.
Well, I'm glad that you did move then. Yes. I guess Jill, you're happy he moved too.
Oh yeah, very happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go back to Birmingham to see relations, obviously.
Yeah, mother and father and brothers.
Yeah. But I was very happy in London, and the way you could get more work in London.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how about you, Jill? What about your upbringing? And your
Well, I'm a Londoner, born and bred, and born and brought up not very far from where we live now, which is Richmond on Thames in Surrey. I went to grammar school, which is, I think, sort of high school similarity to in America. And I loved music, mostly classical music. So I left school and went to Secretarial College and stayed there for a year. And I got a job at the end of that year with a modern classical music, contemporary classical music publishers. And that was based in Soho. And it was also around Denmark Street area, where I managed to bump into all sorts of odd musicians, including
I was the oldest.
the company I worked for. John also worked for, very on and off, very temporarily, because while he was trying to make his name in recording and performing, he also did odd jobs in the music publishers that I worked for. So we met on the stairs, so to speak, one day. He was passing and I was going down and he was coming up. And that's how we got to know one another.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that is very interesting. I like to hear stories like that. How people met and came together. John, how did you first get started in the music business?
In the music business? Well, I come from Birmingham and I grew up in Birmingham, and a friend of mine, Ken Lewis,
School friend,
yeah, lived in Birmingham, and we both decided, we talked about it and we said, I think we need to be in the music business because we're both, crazy about music.
And you wrote together as well.
And we wrote together, yeah. And so the only way to do that, I thought, was, okay, we go down and to see what happens. We go around and see who wants us.
Didn't you just go down for the day? on
Yeah,
the on
yeah.
the local, not the local, the bus from Birmingham
On the
to
bus. Yeah.
London,
Oh, yeah.
and with guitars and all sorts of songs that you'd
And we went
written.
to what someone had told us, you must go to Denmark Street.
The heart of
Denmark,
pop music at
Denmark
that
Street
time
was
in the
where you
60s.
need to go.
All the publishers were along Denmark Street,
Yeah.
both sides.
So we went down to Denmark Street and we went round, and obviously lots of people said, no, we can't see you now.
Knocked on a few doors.
Come back in 2 weeks or something. But there was one
One guy.
guy that said, oh, well, we'll come in and play a few songs for us. And we played a few songs that we'd already written.
And then you went off.
And we went off back.
And he said, where can I get in touch with you if I want to?
Yeah,
And you were going to, you were going to a jazz concert, weren't you?
yeah. But we'd just gone down the road, to have something to eat.
Yeah,
first.
but didn't you go to the 100 Club
Yes,
to
we
see?
did. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, is that one of those, the jazz of that era?
Jazz night. Yes.
Jazz night, yeah. And you said, oh, well, that's where we'll be before we get the midnight bus back to Birmingham. I love that story. And anyway, he came to find them.
And he found us. And he said, we want to sign you. And we just went, huh? Really?
And this was the guy who became their manager, John and Ken Lewis's manager eventually, when they signed to the publishing company that he represented.
Is that right?
Great fun.
What is, that's the thing, is like all the closed doors, all it takes is one open door,
Yeah.
one person to give you a shot, a chance.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow, that's something else. In the early days, did you do any busking?
No, I don't think I
don't think I was suited for that. So I don't know.
needed somebody to hand the hat round, and I wasn't around at that time. So.
I kept thinking no one will like this, and they'll come up and just pinch me.
You were always very shy and retiring, weren't you?
Okay. That's funny. What about any? Did you do any or play any skiffle?
Skiffle? Well, I used to love skiffle, yeah, and I did a few skiffle numbers, didn't I?
You always did when you were writing, when you were performing with Ken, when you got auditioned by the BBC,
Yeah,
and you appeared on various radio shows.
yeah.
You did a lot of old style songs,
Including
musical
skiffle
songs,
bits,
but traditional stuff as well.
Yeah.
So you were quite into the whole area of that.
Oh yeah,
you know, skiffle and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, obviously you wanted to go in a different direction. You and Ken Lewis. How did you start working with Ken?
We were at school together.
Mm-hmm.
And we started writing songs while we were still at school. This is why we came down to London. We'd got a few songs already written. And we wanted to, because people had said, you've got to go down to London because you
To be professional.
to be professional, yeah. And so that's what we did. Denmark Street straight away. And luckily, just one of those companies.
That turned up. The
Yeah.
one door that was open.
Yeah. And they said, come in, play your songs. We played the songs and then we went out to have some dinner or something. And the guy from that company came and found us and said, we'd like to sign you.
That was Southern Music, by the way,
Southern Music.
from where the Southerners name came from.
Oh, I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Carter Lewis part, John being called Shakespeare, Ken's surname was Hawker. And that doesn't sound quite right. It doesn't sound funky enough for showbiz. Hawker Shakespeare. So the guy who found them, Terry Kennedy, who worked at the music publishers, Southern Music, decided that they would be called John Carter and Ken Lewis. It sort of rolled off the tongue, didn't it? Yeah. Carter Lewis, not Hawker Shakespeare. So the guys that backed them up on record were a bunch of, I don't know, misfit no, Misfits, including Jimmy Page,
Jim
Viv Prince, but you know, session guys who were around.
Yeah.
They, for recording purposes, they got called the Southerners. So it sort of flowed nicely.
From Southern music. Now I understand. Okay. What Jimmy Page was like a big time session musician. I mean, he played with everybody. I've seen, I mean, countless bands, and, you know, that he's, you know, of course the Yardbirds, you know, probably the largest, but what kind of,
I think we introduced him.
You started his career.
We started his career, really, yeah. Because he wasn't working with anyone else until we found him.
Yeah, he was just a session guy, you know,
Yeah.
doing odd sessions for other people's recordings.
Yeah.
But you went out on the road with him as well, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
you toured with him? Okay,
Yeah.
so you must have got along with him pretty
Well, it was a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really a nice guy. We got on well, didn't we?
well. I was going to ask you too, who else was in the band that we might know?
Or
Viv Prince,
Cliff Prince,
Rod Clark,
Rod Clark,
Red Clark.
yeah,
Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page. Yeah.
Was Clem part of the band?
He was at one time, yeah.
Clem
Clem
Catini.
Catini.
Oh, Clem Catini, yes, yes.
Mm.
Okay.
It was a sort of movable feast then, really, wasn't
It
it?
was like-
Depending on who was
You
available.
could ring up and say, "Can you do it?" And that's it. Somewhere else.
And all the session guys were very busy, so it depended whether they were working that week or not.
Yeah.
But it was a sort of nice, close little group.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say?
yeah,
Yeah, everybody got on well with everybody.
yeah.
Okay, so you enjoyed your time with in that group.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Well, that was the start. Really, you know, everything I've done since then.
Yeah. You know what? A tune I like is "Will It Happen to Me?"
Yeah.
You recall that one? It has kind of.
It happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play the guitar.
Yeah.
You want to pick that up and play along? Later, if you would like, if we have time, you could play something if you feel up to it.
Oh, I may be gone by then. I've still got some drinks.
Okay. I have my coffee. Since
Oh,
you guys are
of
six
course.
hours ahead of me, I have my like.
It's
Yeah.
midday for you. It's the cocktail hour for us.
Right. Exactly. So I was, but that song has like an Everly Brothers kind of Buddy Holly feel, and it was produced by Joe Meek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
have-
have a few songs involved with Joe Meek.
we
didn't
did.
you?
Yeah, we got on well with Joe Meek, and yeah, he recorded quite a few, didn't he?
Yeah. Yes.
I was going to ask you, did you have any interesting Joe Meek stories to tell?
Oh, the Joe Meek story in itself is just
Yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, have you seen the film Telstar?
No, I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't.
That's Joe Meek, really. You know, to a T, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
But we didn't take him seriously, did we?
Well, no, he had a style of his own, I think, but
Yeah.
he had a really good ear for picking good pop songs and
Yeah.
interesting productions as well.
Right.
He had a very innovative approach to production, didn't he? I mean, like Telstar, you know, all sorts of
Strange things that you would never believe.
on very basic
Who
equipment.
made this record? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very different on some of his.
He used to record people because the studio was in a house, in fact, over a shop. I think maybe you know, and it was set up as a flat. And at some point, he used to record people in the bathroom to get the right sound, you know,
Is that
to
right?
get a decent echo sound, or you know, there'd be people standing on the stairs going up to the next floor. I mean, it was really seat of the pants production in those days because there was not much technology involved. It was all basic
So
stuff.
you got that on your record, recorded in the bathroom. You did it. Make sure that everyone knew you that.
Not Abbey Road or
No, but as you can see throughout the years, I mean, people have really appreciated what he has done and contributed to the music.
yeah, he was an innovator, wasn't he?
An innovator, exactly. I think later on in America, Phil Spector kind of did that wall of sound production that he did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's really good too. Well, let's see. Let's move to you guys met in 1963.
Yes.
Okay, and you kind of mentioned how you met, and then 3 years later, you were married.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
We
not a
haven't
long time.
that, have we?
Well,
I haven't anyway.
let's not go into that.
It's a good period of courtship. Yeah, it's a good period.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took a while to get to know one another. And also, John was touring at that time quite a lot with the Ivy League. So we didn't see much of one another. So when we did see each other, we sort of got to know one another better. And it was good. Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Speaking of Ivy League, enter Perry Ford in 1964.
Whoops.
What are you doing this for? What?
You
come
carry
on,
on.
I was going to talk about how this led Carter Lewis morphing into the Ivy League.
Mm. It was
Well,
Terry's idea, wasn't it?
It was Terry's idea, yeah. Terry Kennedy, who was the manager, our manager.
He thought a third voice
A
would
third
help.
voice, a third voice would be much better, and we probably, do better.
Yeah,
do
because
well.
with two voices, it made you stick in that sort of Everly Brothers format. With
Right.
three, and he blended quite well with you. You could get more of a
Well, 3-part harmony is better
harmony,
than 2-part harmony. Yes.
Right. Well, I must say you guys did harmonize quite well. I mean, it's evident from all the vinyl and now CD that's out there. But yeah, it was a good choice. I think definitely a good choice to add him.
Yeah.
Tossing and Turning, my favorite. Funny How Love Can Be.
Oh,
And My World Fell Down. You know, I didn't know until I read up that you had written that one. And the American band Sagittarius covered it. Big hit for them. I was surprised. It's a very kind of a dark song, not I would say atypical of what you had.
that's
you had
right. Yeah.
But it was I first
probably-
heard it.
I was probably in a different mood when we wrote that.
well, no, I think you like to experiment anyway, didn't you?
I did,
You-
I did. I like to
yeah.
write all sorts of songs.
Yeah, it's I heard it on a various artists Nuggets compilation. I think it was
Yeah,
Sagittarius years ago.
yeah.
So it was written by yourself and Jeff Stevens, right?
Yes.
Talk about how that songwriting tandem began.
With Jeff Stevens.
Mhm.
Well, Jeff had always been a friend, hadn't he, for
Yeah, he
a
was
long
signed
time.
to Southern as well.
And
as a
he
writer.
was signed to Southern Music, the same as we were.
He was fairly established as a writer too.
Yeah.
But you
and,
you knew him, and occasionally got together. I think you started writing because Ken left the Ivy League
Yeah.
for a while. Decided, because I think he had bouts of he was diabetic, Ken, so he had bouts of ill health, and not touring was good. I mean, touring was not good for him, so he withdrew for a bit. So he just withdrew from the music business for a while, and you just got together with Jeff and bounced ideas off one another.
Yeah. And we wrote quite a few songs together.
Yeah, what were some of the notable songs that you wrote with him, with Jeff?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh,
My Sentimental Friend, was that one that I wrote with him?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we wrote that with Jeff.
Do you remember that?
I will find out.
Oh,
My Sentimental Friend, My World Fell Down.
Herman's Hermits, Sentimental Friend.
Yes.
Mm.
okay.
Just a cathedral. You did the voice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You worked.
so-
You worked on
Winchester,
productions with Joe.
Winchester Cathedral was his
His song,
His
and you did the
but
big
voice.
hit.
I did the record, yeah.
See, I'm gonna have to get me a personal human dictionary like you have, you know. So I don't have to look things up and I can just have a friend over here, you know. That's helpful though. So quite a few.
Yeah.
What were some other bands? I know I've heard of some that were signed to Southern Music. What were some other bands?
Signed to Southern Music.
Elmer Gantry's Velvet Opera, I seem to remember, but they were fairly obscure.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
wow.
if they made it in America at all, but
Yeah. Brett Sage. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
mm,
Elmer Gantry's. Yes.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. hmm Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool if you can't recall. I just thought I would ask. John, why did you leave the Ivy League?
Why did I leave the Ivy League?
Oh, it's touring, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. They wanted us to do a lot of touring, and I didn't like touring at all. I wanted to be back home writing new songs.
You just never had time to settle down and write
No,
for any length of time.
and sometimes that touring took you away from your house for a long time,
Yeah.
and I didn't like that. So I wanted to be at home writing new songs all the time.
You know, I've heard that that's a common thread with musicians. I've heard that over and over again.
Yeah, yeah,
Touring was just a beat down, you know,
yeah.
and being away for so long from your family and loved ones, and
So
if you had kids, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So
it
it's,
doesn't.
yeah. So you preferred the writing. Did you like recording in the studio versus performing live?
Yeah, recording in the studio, I loved. Yeah, much more than singing live.
Yeah, yeah. What was your most your favorite studio that you recorded in? And your
Well,
We used to use Lansdowne a lot, didn't you?
Lansdowne was good. Yeah. Do you remember Lansdowne? No.
yes.
Lansdowne in Notting Hill.
Yeah,
Olympic.
that was my
That
my
was
favorite.
that was the best one, I think. And you made a lot of good records there, like
Yeah.
Let's Go to San Francisco.
Yeah,
Was done there.
we did that there. Yeah.
And Audio International,
Audio International.
Nick
was okay.
Ryan,
Yeah, yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
And John Maxwith was at
Good old John. Yeah,
yeah, he was great.
he was.
Yeah.
Very funny as well, and he didn't know he was very funny.
Who was the favorite producer that you worked with?
Ooh,
I don't know, you worked with so many, didn't you?
I did. But I preferred it when I
Yeah, you were in
controlled it.
charge.
You know, it's like, no, I don't think we should do that. So we want to do this. Let's not do that.
Tell the story about Mick Jagger. Was that
Out of time.
that was Out of Time? Yeah.
Chris Fowler.
You doing the vocal backing on Out of Time, and
Yeah,
Mick Jagger was producing, wasn't he?
yeah,
And the arranger had written something really complicated for vocal backing, and Mick Jagger didn't like it at all. He said, "No, don't know about that." So he came down and joined John and Chris Farlow doing vocal backing on Out of Time, and it was just cut back to the bone, you know, no frills and furbelows.
and it was just right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think Chris Farlow's version is the definitive version of that song.
Yeah. I agree.
I've always loved that song. Well, talk about how you got to guest sing on I Can't Explain. How did that come about?
Wasn't that usual? Session guys, you
It
know, you got
was,
booked
yeah.
for a session.
I was sort of known as a session guy by then, and you know, people would just ring you up and say, "Can you make Tuesday?" And you wouldn't actually know what you were going to do most of the time, so you just turn up because you've been booked, and that was one of the ones that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's a good session.
Is that right? Did you get to hobnob any with the Who?
Occasionally, yes, yes, we did. Yeah,
And
we were.
all nice guys?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the one we're talking about.
Is it? No, another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Anyway,
doesn't come to mind at the moment.
All, okay, all nice, sensible men except for Keith Moon, right?
no answer to that one.
Yeah, I've heard lots of stories. Boy. So you also, I found this one kind of odd. Brenda Lee's "Is It True?" You and Ken wrote that, and then you're
Right.
also singing backing on that.
That's right.
You were asked by Nicky Most to write something for her, weren't you?
Mickey Most asked me to write something for her.
Particularly for her. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Did she record it in England?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good song too. That's a good song.
It was an interesting
may-
one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was different for you and Ken. So
It was,
not
yeah.
3-part harmony or anything like
Mm.
that.
Your third band of note, the Flower Pot Men. Where did that name come from, and who penned it or who coined it?
Oh, I did.
Uh,
I did answer these.
Well.
You knew I was going to ask.
Over to you,
Well,
Joe.
The myth, I suppose, is that it was the era of flower power, and flower and pot, you know, and also on children's TV in the UK, there was a program with two, excuse me, two puppets made of flower pots. You know, the sort of,
Yeah.
and in the middle was a little sunflower called Weed.
Weed. Yes.
Really?
You get the connection.
Yeah.
In order not to be either too obscure or too obvious, they decided flower pot men, and that's what the two puppets were called, the flower pot men, Bill and Ben.
Oh, how
It's
interesting.
sort of in joke in the business.
How long was this children's show? How long did it run?
Oh,
Well, ages. Yeah.
quite a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Was there ever any flack back from the public or people that read through the lines?
Nobody made the connection.
Oh, interesting.
I wish we had.
It was,
we still had
it
the
was our
book.
secret.
Okay, I have to ask, which song came out first? Let's Go to San Francisco or Scott McKenzie's San Francisco? Do you know? Do you remember?
I think ours.
I can't remember the timings. Probably
I think
simultaneous. I
Well,
would think.
I think ours was a bit.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
They were both 67, I believe, 67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just curious about that. You know.
I don't think you felt at all, influenced by that. It was just that everything at that era was flower power and San Francisco and sun and sand and all
That's
the rest of
why, as far as I can remember, we'd recorded ours before it came out.
I don't remember the dates.
Recorded 66 and released in 67.
Oh,
Probably we recorded before Scott
yeah,
McKenzie.
yeah. So Sal tells us it was
It's
recorded
been
in 66
66
and
and
released in
released.
67.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I don't know how that figures with the Scott McKenzie version.
Okay. Well, he's no longer with us, so we can't ask him.
He won't mind.
But did you get to go to San Francisco? Did you guys get to go to San Francisco?
Did I go to San Francisco?
I think we didn't. No, when we did the coast to coast trip to America, we skirted around San Francisco, ended up in Los Angeles, but never spent much time there. No, so totally mythic, really.
I was going to say, if you did, it's all a haze, right? If you did go
That's a better way of describing it.
I don't recall. I don't remember. Okay, we'll skip over that. And
Yeah, possibly, but
that's right. That's right. Speaking of Jeff Stevens, his song "Winchester Cathedral" became a huge hit for the new vaudeville band, right? And who was on lead vocals?
Lisa.
That's right. That's a ding ding ding. Good answer.
Winchester Cathedral. That's what I had to do. I had to hold my nose for the whole record.
Right, like Rudy Valley. I mean,
yeah,
it was way before my time, but that kind of thing with the megaphone and yeah.
that's it. That was the sort of 30s era that they were trying to recreate on the sound, because it was such a weird.
But we didn't have any things, so I had to go like that.
Oh yeah, people always thought you had a paper cup or something.
Yeah, they thought I was,
that's the story
doing it through something like Winchester. And I said, no, I did that Winchester.
Until I don't believe you.
No.
That's funny. Well, obviously, it struck a chord with the public. It became a big, huge hit. What did you think at the time it was released? Did you think it would be that big of a hit?
No, I was just thinking, I wonder if Jeff Stevens will pay me for this. I'm still waiting.
Still waiting. What? Which of your hit songs are you most proud of? Either you individually or both of you together. Which songs are you most proud of?
One of the Ivy League songs, do you think?
I don't know.
Something we wrote, maybe.
Must be something.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't mind. Go. Pick one that you and Ken wrote.
No, I don't know. I mean, everything, if it becomes a hit, you love. But the ones you write and they don't do anything, they don't get in the charts or anything, you tend to forget.
But sometimes you write something you love and you think should be a hit, and it doesn't do as well as you think it should. So you never know.
Funny how it can be. You can.
Oh yes, sounds just reminded. Funny how love can be.
Yes. That's I love that song. I listen to it periodically.
Harp's Bizarre in America.
Great.
Oh, yeah, the Harper's Bizarre version.
Yeah.
Is,
Right.
Terrific. Yeah.
Right.
But that was there she comes with the nose and
Yeah, really, really different, but
yeah,
perfect. I think that's a
it's
version.
a good record.
Okay, fast forward to the 70s, and you and Gill began writing songs together.
Yes.
And you said Gill, that was something that was in your blood that you had always wanted to do, right?
Well, not strictly speaking, wanted desperately to do. I never thought of myself as a musician, anyway, as a songwriter. But I've always written lots of short stories and poetry and stuff at school, but never thought of doing it professionally. But when Ken moved to the States at that time, and I think Jeff had moved to Switzerland, most of John's regular writing partners weren't around, so he asked me if I'd like to have a shot at working on something.
Persuaded.
Well, I was sort of handy and cheap. I was around and available.
But I bet you, John, you paid in certain ways, didn't you? You paid for her. I said you paid for her services
Oh,
in certain ways,
Made it
right?
worth my while.
I knew she was brilliant, you see, I knew.
Well, I have to say at the beginning, it was quite tough because he has very strong ideas about how a song should go. Obviously, he's a musician, so he knows how a song should sing right, how it
How
should
it should end up.
flow, yeah, how it
Yes.
should look
Yeah.
in a sort of final version, how
Yeah.
it should sound. And I wasn't used to working to such a strict basis, because you've got a hit, not a hit, you've got a chorus, you've got a sort of section, maybe intro, verse, chorus, bridge, whatever, because a musician will have his ideas about that. And to be able to think of, and also where the hook comes, the title. And sometimes John would have his idea about vaguely what it should be like, or what it should be about, or what the atmosphere the music created, and would give me a rough idea. And then he'd put it on cassette, little cassette.
Do you remember cassettes?
I did it when I was washing up or doing stuff around the house. So I just got the feeling of it. And then I'd come with a few ideas and we'd sit and knock around, various ideas about the subject and the feeling of it. So, it was quite difficult to get that right at first until I got the hang of how it should
But
work.
then it worked very well.
Then it worked okay, yeah. And we used to have a huge amount of fun doing it, didn't we?
Hysterics. I was mostly
Let me just ask you this on average, let's just say, from start to finish, about how long would it take you guys to compose a song? I mean, I'm sure they're different, each one's.
It varied quite a lot, didn't it?
sometimes we got something done in an
In
evening.
a day, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, if I had a morning to listen to something, when I was really in the swing of it, then I could get the hang of how it should go. And then once we decided what it should be like overall, then just throw a few ideas around and knock it into shape. So it would be, maybe we could do it in a day, but then sometimes something like, I don't know, something with more input in the lyrics, more of a story, it would take a while to get it knocked into shape. But as far as Beach Baby was concerned, I mean, I wrote that in a couple of hours, the lyrics to that.
Is that right?
So that came, very quickly.
Well, was it Beach Boys, I guess, inspired? Was that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're both huge fans of their album. I mean,
Brian Wilson, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that song, and I guess probably a whole lot of people that heard it could not imagine it was a British group, doing that. It sounded very American.
Yeah.
And first, I think first class, yeah, I should say first class.
Yeah.
Did a really good job. Do you recall how was the song sold to them, or did they approach you? What happened with the song? Their manager?
You produced it, finished the whole thing, and I think you took it to Jonathan King.
That's right.
UK Records, a very small independent label, although he had 10cc, so they weren't that small, but he was an independent label, and we took that.
Favorite group. Yeah. Was that Jonathan King? Everybody's Gone to the Moon. That Jonathan King?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. He was innovative too. Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so they like, another song I think of at that same time period with is White Plains. What was their song? Baby Loves Lovin'. My Baby Loves Lovin'. I mean, you guys have everything to do with that, but I'm just saying, and it was another one that did not sound, British. Sounds very, very American. I
That
guess.
was the two Rogers, wasn't it? Roger Greenaway and Roger Cook.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tony Burrows was involved somewhere.
Oh,
He's always been involved in
where
something.
wasn't he?
Yeah, I put in a request to him. I don't know if he'll respond to do an interview, either written or video, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, I'll give him a ring and make sure he does.
Yeah, you tell him. From me, you tell.
I'll do that.
The other, I was going to ask you about was, do you recall "One More Mile to Freedom"? Do you remember that song?
Yes.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh.
I found that on a compilation, and it was kind of obscured 70s, early 70s songs, and it
Yeah.
was on, and I was like, wow, this is John Carter, and it really grew on me. It really grew on me, and I like the message. I really like the message.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Mm.
And his favourite too.
Favorite over there,
Oh.
too.
We're doing well with this one.
Okay, now you also wrote "Dreams Are 10 a Penny." Okay, recorded by Kincade. John Kincade? Is that his name? He just went by Kincade. Is that?
Well,
It
it
was just
started as Kincade,
Kincade, yeah.
which was you.
Yeah.
And then when it became successful in Europe, they wanted someone to tour to promote it. But again,
Which wasn't me.
It wasn't you. So they got this guy, but because he was a soloist, needed a soloist name, John Kincade. So that's what the follow-up records came out, released as John Kincade. But that was all John's
The original.
voking. Vocal.
The original.
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
Original. Then another song. Again, you guys didn't. Well, John, you were involved in this one. "Love Her Like a Lover," another Kincade song. You helped produce that one, I believe. I don't know if you're.
I don't remember
I
that.
think that one must have
Love
got
Her
on.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was disco-y. It was right at the height of disco, or when it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it may have been recorded by John Kincade.
Okay.
I can't remember his real name. That was his stage name, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I can't remember.
No. So it may have been when he was a big success in Europe, and disco was big then. But you weren't involved in that too.
No, I got rid of it.
I don't know. You might find this interesting. You're familiar with Jimmy Fallon of Tonight Show, right? In America, the Tonight Show host, Jimmy Fallon.
The
Yeah.
name's familiar.
Yeah.
That's one of his favorite songs for some reason. And he was like, he didn't grow up during that period, but I don't know. "Love Her Like a Lover" is one of his favorite songs. So I'd throw that out there, right?
Good luck to.
You never know what fans you're going to reach. Years after, decades after, you just never know. Have you noticed?
For example, your good self. I mean,
Right,
you know all about
right,
John's early stuff and our stuff, and
right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, have you noticed a resurgence at all? Maybe an interest with the compilation. What was A Rose by Any Other Name? Have you noticed more people? Have people writing to you, or just a fan base that's maybe grown?
well, I think that was
I think
a while back, wasn't it?
It was, and we've sold-
the compilation.
sold quite a lot.
Since then, record label in the UK called Cherry Red put out a
Right.
compilation of John's early stuff up to sort of late 60s. And we've definitely had interest from fans in the States for that.
Right. Cherry Red's really good about that.
Yeah.
I've got several compilations on that. I'm always on their website looking for new releases. They're really good about doing that.
Yeah.
Releasing old stuff and re-releasing. Okay. So we talked about that. Oh, John, do you want to talk about your commercial writing? You've written for commercials. Did you enjoy that kind of work?
I can't say that I enjoyed it. Sometimes you'd have to do something in about 10 minutes. You know.
It was money spinner, wasn't it?
It was a money spinner, but no, I enjoyed it for a while. It was, well, it
It's
was,
quite pressured, though.
it was pressured, yeah.
It's one of those.
Because it was usually, you had to do it in a half a day or something, because, they're going to record it and it's on the air tomorrow. So you had to do it very quickly. But it was interesting.
And it was also easier because they gave you the brief. You got the script, and you had an idea of what they wanted. And it was also mostly 29 seconds long. You didn't have to agonize over three and a half, 4 minute length of song. And
Sometimes not that.
not
It was like,
it's just what we want, just what we're looking for.
Yeah, jingles, writing jingles. Yeah. Did you have any? What am I trying to say? Did you work with any of the easy listening, like John Cameron, with the KPM? Isn't that the label that put out the easy listening stuff, late 60s, early 70s? Did you do any work with that?
I don't think.
No, I think they were more. They produced library music, which
library, exactly.
you just wrote lots and lots of different styles, and then
they put it away. And
they had it on the shelf and picked it off if somebody needed it. No, you just involved with the sort of more the jingly stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay. What about composing for film? What are your most memorable, soundtrack or songs that you wrote for film?
No one's ever asked me.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm the first. Okay.
Have we done any?
No, you've never written film scores.
No.
I mean, some of your songs were used in
films.
But, that's just picking something up and using it.
I think I'd be terrified if someone suddenly rang me up and said, "We want a whole,"
Yeah, you have to be a sort of an arranger, composer, orchestrator, which you weren't trained as.
We leave that to some of our friends that are
we do.
involved in that.
What moving over to you guys are still working on compiling back catalog, right? Still working on getting some of those old songs released.
We always try, we always try and if someone writes to us to say, "Have you got a song about so-and-so?" We always look in the back catalogue. Oh, this would be perfect for them.
And Pierre Southern usually use back catalogue for synchronizations. So,
they do,
yeah, it's quite regular income, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we tend not to push that ourselves because our publisher does that. Very efficient.
Oh, very good, very good. Do you have a lot of unissued recordings, or like maybe demos that were never put on record before?
Many.
Yeah.
Many, okay.
We have a musical, 2 musicals, in fact. That's never seen the light of day,
Really?
which we hope might happen sometime. So, we're still thinking about pushing those around to unsuspecting people.
Has anyone shown any interest yet?
No, we wrote with a playwright back in sort of 80s, a musical called Bobby Dazzler. That's where, do you know the first class Bobby Dazzler track?
No.
Oh, Bobby Dazzler, what they gonna do to you?
They tell you what to wear, how to comb your hair, and everything else you do. Anyway, that
will be sentence, please.
was That was a first class track. But we wrote a whole load of songs for the musical called Bobby Dazzler. It was about a guy, a bit like, do you remember Leo Sayer?
Yes.
And he tried lots of different styles, visual styles. And it was someone who'd been taken on to do a style of singing and then didn't work. And then he recorded other things like rock and roll and folk and all sorts of different things, and how he was treated like a puppet. You know, he'd been pushed around into different formats. Quite an unhappy ending.
Yeah.
Anyway, we wrote it with a guy who was a playwright, and we tried with various sources, but nothing ever came of that. So it's gathering dust at the moment.
It's still usable.
and then John and Ken wrote a musical based on Vivaldi's Four Seasons,
Okay.
which was at the
As
height
you
of the height of the hippie era, which was not, didn't hit any heights at all. So they're sort of gathering dust, and the moths are getting at them.
I liked writing them.
Yeah,
Just
well, it's
got you into a different way.
and you have a format which is a help.
Right. Well, you never know.
You never know.
Keep plugging away.
Keep plugging away, and somebody might be interested.
Yeah.
With the release of all your back catalog music, you never know. They might look into that. Somebody might look into that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is
Do we care?
We don't.
what any other releases that are coming out soon? Any other releases?
No, it's basically the Cherry Red compilation. That one over there. My World Fell Down. You know the one?
Yes.
Quick plug.
That's fine. That's fine. Yes.
That one.
I've yet to get that one, but
That sold out on its first pressing, and it was repressed,
wow.
which is quite a
Good,
unusual.
good start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good start. Is that a double CD, triple? How many CDs?
Four CDs.
Four CDs. That's what I like about Cherry Red too. Though, how these box sets, 4 or 5. Yes. Go ahead and plug them. Go ahead. That's right. It always helps, It's free advertising. Right. Exactly. And until YouTube puts the crackdown on me, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's not. That's not going to happen. Talk about, John, your work with this guy over here that's helping you out.
Samuel.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Okay. Yeah. Join in.
Yeah. Come in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
This
way
guy-
we get
This guy is brilliant. He's absolutely
Oh,
brilliant.
he's brilliant.
This way we get to see you. We were hearing you, now we get to see you too. So yeah, so how did you guys meet and start working together?
Yes,
Yeah.
we met 2012, and actually we met in a college that John used to do improvisation with playing the guitar, and it was nice. I saw John playing, and John saw watching me playing too, and he really liked me, the way that I used to I play, and he invited me to come to his place for a chat and have some discussion about music. And for the first time we just wrote a song together, and never stopped from that time in 2012. So now we just working together and writing songs together. So we had 3 albums, and we're still
It's good.
heading to the next one, which is the 4th album.
Being good fun, isn't it?
Yes, it is, John.
So it was a kinship from the very beginning that you appreciated each other's style and
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
As soon as I heard him play, I thought, oh, this guy is really good. And you probably didn't think that.
The
about
same
me, but-
with John, yes. I would say the same. Yes, John is amazing and such amazing talent for not only for songwriting, but playing and inspiration for writing songs, and musically, it's really nice to get together and discuss about music and writing songs together. For me, it's a privilege and a pleasure.
I have to pay him for this.
Oh. That's funny. Yeah, so you guys really work well off of each other. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you a big fan of his career? Did you know anything about his early work when you guys met?
At the time, 2012, no, I didn't know much about, because I'm a Brazilian, and you know, to be honest, I was more involved in jazz, you know, bossa nova, because it's, you know, Brazil, it's more like, I would say, like that style, jazz and bossa, samba.
Mhm.
And with John, for me, was a great experience to learn more blues and get more into rock and roll and things like that. For me, was really nice to learn more about. And yeah, it's and we got together. Since we got together, for me, it was great to absorb more this other side, let's say, influences. And it's the great thing, Greg, is just to combine the combination of Brit and, you know, the styles, like bring jazz into you know, I would say, I wouldn't say blue and jazz together, no, but just combine both styles. It's quite interesting. Some songs like bring some Latin flavor into the songs.
Right.
So, yeah.
Were you or are you a big Sergio Mendes fan?
Sorry, did you say?
Sergio Mendes?
Sergio Mendes.
No. Not
No.
really. No, sorry.
That's before
That's
your time.
honest, isn't it?
Really hard.
But I love all the I love a lot of the salsa and the Brazilian the music. João Gilberto, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yes.
And yes, and Bebel Gilberto, yes.
Yes.
A lot of that's good stuff. So it's really kind of fusion, would you say, in a way, like your style with the blues, you know?
It is a good
Yeah. Yes.
combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can write different-
Every
very
single
different
song
things.
we put some Latin flavor into the British pop, and
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I've noticed that. What brought you to England in the first place?
Which branch?
Brought
You know, what brought
Oh
you to
yes.
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I, we decided to try a new life. Actually, she came in London in 2000, actually, in early, I think 1995 or 1997, and we try. She really enjoyed staying here, and she had a sister that was living in London, and we got married, and she really liked this place, and we tried to have a new life, and we decided to come to London. Yes, so in 2006, and I met John in 2012. Yes, since that time we never stopped writing, as I said. Yeah.
Well, I've listened to a few of your songs together, and they are quite good, I must say.
Oh.
And I enjoyed the video. Who was behind the video production?
We do together, let's say.
Okay.
I wouldn't say. It's always sit down and get the ideas together, and we're trying to do our best. Yeah, we always like that. We never. Yeah, technically, I would say, you know, working with the programs or things like that, I can, you know, I can manage it, let's say, well, but all the ideas comes together, and it's great to get the feeling, and yeah. So
All that. How about, have you guys played any gigs, any concerts together?
no, just open mics sometimes. Yeah, so as John describes, he doesn't really like to play live show and things like that.
I've been through all that.
Yes, that's right. Really enjoying sit down and writing songs and playing things. Yeah, so it's very enjoyable.
What has been the reaction, the public's reaction to your music? Has it been pretty positive?
Well, yeah, it is positive when we go to some open mics here, and yeah, people really enjoy our playing together. I know the songs that we're writing together, we have like production involved, which is sometimes you get a big sound, but it's always nice when we get together in acoustic guitar, two acoustic guitar, people really enjoying that play. Yes.
They like simplicity. Don't they,
Yeah,
sometimes?
it is. Yes.
Right, exactly. I was going to say that too. It's more intimate. It's more intimate.
It is. It is. Right?
Yeah.
I've been to enough loud concerts before in my past that my hearing is not, I know it's not as good as it should be. So I prefer the more intimate acoustic sets, things like that, you know, yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
We'll talk about family life, all three of you, if you want to take turns, or are Jill and John together, or just talk about your kids, things like that, if y'all want to.
No, we don't have children.
Okay.
We decided
Not to.
quite a long time ago that we concentrate on our careers. I mean, mine
Okay.
separately before we were married, and then when we were working and John was, you know, getting famous.
I was almost as old as well, wasn't it?
But it wouldn't be fair to,
Right.
you know, have a family and settle down with while that was going on. So yeah, we've, you know, so we don't have kids. We don't have close family really. I mean, I've got cousins in Scotland and various, you know, far-flung places, and same with John, his nephews and nieces. But you know, we're just a fairly small, tight-knit community.
We're happy as we are.
We are happy, yeah, we are.
What
I
about
suppose
you?
Sally's got
Yeah.
14.
Oh, 14
No,
cousins and 2
cousins.
sisters.
Yes, my family is quite big family. We have you know, my father, his background is from Lebanon, and yes, and my mom is Brazilian, and they had 4 kids. So I have 3 brothers. I mean, 1 sister and 3 brothers, and I have 2 kids. So Danielle and Emily. Emily's 5 and Danielle's 29.
Oh,
So yes, and my wife, we as I said, we came from Brazil in 2006, and we had the kids in London. Yes, so yeah, that's our
So
family.
we're waiting for them to learn all our songs so we can put them on the road.
Exactly. That's right. Our own artist, isn't it?
that will work. That will work. Come to work. That's good. Well, what else? What else keeps you guys busy? You know, other interests outside of music. What else keeps you guys busy?
How can
Besides
it be?
family.
You can't be anything else outside of music.
We have no time.
No time.
No time.
It's a full-time endeavor. Yeah, I can get that. I can get that.
But we like it so much, you know, working on music, and we never say, "Oh, shall we just quit now?" And
That's right.
go and have a dinner or something.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it's, you know, you've heard people say this before, but it's really wonderful that you're doing something that you enjoy so much, that you love. You know, so many people don't. And, you know, that if it's in your blood, you've got to do it,
Yeah.
and we appreciate, everybody does, all the fans out there. I think you're probably getting a new fan base with hamster,
Hamster,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a creative name too. I like that.
Yes. James,
Yeah.
Carter and Hamzen,
Uh-huh.
so both names Hamster, yes.
Yeah.
From Carter and Hamzen, my name, surname, and John's name. Yeah, so
No, no, no.
Don't go any further.
no going
Nobody
further.
will understand.
That's right.
You haven't thought about putting a picture of a hamster on the cover?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, well, I guess we're winding down. What time is it there?
Just gone
Just gone
7
7.
in the evening.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going back.
But we've got plenty of time if you want to carry on.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Well, what else? What else would you like to talk about? I mean, are you guys?
Where is the next drink? That's what I would.
I've run out of questions.
Yes, it is well covered.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed, talking with you guys and
been
learning a little bit more. I knew some.
As the
Go ahead.
same.
No, I was going to say we've enjoyed it too. We've been laughing all the
Enjoyed
time.
Thank you so much for doing this, taking the time to do this, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank
You
you.
know, all of you, and
Thank
keep pressing on. You guys are John and Jill. You're stay young in spirit. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to come back to us anytime, we're here.
Yes.
Oh, you're there. Okay. I know where to find you. I know where.
You know where we live.
Thank you, Greg, for having
Uh-huh.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Really
Nice to
enjoyed
meet
it. Yeah.
Okay. I did too. Thank you.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right.